There was once a young man named Aaron who lived in a small village surrounded by vast fields and towering mountains. Despite the beauty around him, Aaron always saw the world through a lens of bitterness. His life had not been easy. His family struggled to make ends meet, and he had known nothing but hardship and failure. Aaron spent most of his days sitting by the edge of the village, watching the others around him work and succeed, while he remained stuck in a cycle of pessimism. One day, while sitting by the river near the village, he overheard a conversation. An old man, known for his wisdom and deep insight, was speaking to a group of villagers. The old man's words struck Aaron, though he didn't want to admit it. The old man said, "It is not our circumstances that bind us. It is the way we choose to see them. If you change the way you think, the world will change around you." Aaron couldn't believe what he was hearing. How could thinking differently change anything, he thought. His life had been a series of struggles, and he had never been able to change anything through mere thought. The villagers were intrigued, but Aaron remained doubtful. Days passed, and Aaron couldn't shake the old man's words from his mind. He tried to push them away, but they lingered. What if the old man was right? What if there was something to this idea of changing how you think? The thought seemed absurd, but a small part of him wondered if he had been wrong all along. One particularly hard day, after another failed attempt to find work, Aaron sat down by the river again. This time, he was exhausted not just from the physical labor, but from the emotional weight of his pessimism. He stared at the reflection of the sky in the water, and something inside him shifted. He whispered to himself, "What if I could change? What if I could see things differently?" It wasn't a dramatic change, but from that moment on, Aaron tried to do one small thing every day with a new perspective. The first thing he tried was simply smiling at people as he passed by. At first it felt strange, and he wasn't sure why he was doing it, but he kept at it. The villagers, who once barely noticed him, began to smile back. Slowly, Aaron noticed other small shifts. He found work when he hadn't before. People began offering him help, and even in the midst of struggle, his heart felt a little lighter. The real change, however, came when the village faced a crisis. The crops had failed due to a dry season, and the farmers were desperate. Aaron, who once would have sat back and watched in silence, felt something stir inside him. He decided to help. He gathered the villagers and, instead of complaining about the situation, he proposed they work together to share their resources and support each other. The villagers were skeptical at first, but as they began to cooperate, the situation began to improve. Not only did they have enough to get through the crisis, but Aaron saw something more profound happening. They were building something greater than just a solution to their immediate problems. They were building a sense of community. One day, as Aaron walked through the village, he saw the old man again. The old man smiled at him, a knowing look in his eyes. "You've changed, Aaron," he said quietly. "I see it in you. Your heart is lighter now. Your life is different." Aaron looked at him, a little confused. "I've tried to change the way I think," he said, "but I don't understand. How did I do this? I don't have any special skills. I'm just me." The old man's smile deepened. "You see, Aaron, that's the thing. The world isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to believe in yourself, to believe that you can make a difference. Once you change how you see yourself and the world around you, the world will begin to respond." Aaron paused, letting the old man's words sink in. Just then, the old man said something that took Aaron completely by surprise. "I've been watching you, Aaron. You've done something remarkable here, not just for the village, but for yourself. And because of the changes I've seen in you, I want to offer you something that will change your life even further." Aaron looked at the old man, confused but intrigued. The old man handed him a small deed, a deed to a piece of land that had once been part of a vast estate. This land was once part of a family business that I ran, but I've been waiting for someone with a new mindset to take it over. Someone who understands that transformation begins from within. You've earned it, Aaron. Aaron was speechless. This was the last thing he had expected. A beggar turned successful businessman, a village misfit handed the opportunity of a lifetime. His mind couldn't process it. The old man continued, "The true wealth isn't in the land or possessions, it's in how you perceive the world and your role in it. The moment you shifted your perspective, you began to change everything." Aaron stood in awe as the old man walked away, leaving him with the realization that his life had changed in ways he could never have predicted. The pessimistic, defeated young man had become someone who had built not only a better future for himself, but for everyone around him. Months later, Aaron turned that piece of land into a thriving farm. The village prospered, and Aaron became a beacon of hope and inspiration. He had proven that when you change the way you think, the way you live follows suit in ways that are often beyond what you can imagine. Aaron's transformation wasn't just about changing his thoughts. It was about seeing his true worth and understanding that the world around him could change when he changed the way he viewed it. By embracing positivity and believing in himself, Aaron unlocked doors he never knew existed. His journey teaches us that true transformation begins from within, and when we shift our perspective, we open ourselves up to possibilities that can completely change our lives.